Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is Star Wars Saturdays, an ongoing anthology campaign. It's in its sixth year. Wow. Where Star Wars Saturdays, it's an anthology campaign in that I choose a different RPG system every month. Sometimes I string together and do quarterlies or bi-monthlies. But specifically for this month, I've chosen an RPG and we're playing it together here in July of 2023. The game that we are playing is a hack and reskin of Monster of the Week, a game from Evil Hat Productions. And we call it Bounty of the Week. And I'm not speaking the royal we. This is a game that Will and I have bandied back and forth, and he's run it a bunch of times, and I've run it a bunch of times. And David Messer Cabanig has run it, and a bunch of other folks have run this wonderful game. In fact, Mad J ran it uh, a live Kansas City thing. So it's been bounced around and remixed, and it's fun. I'll stop talking about the history of the game and talk about this game. We're 3 sessions in now to this Bounty of the Week game. The characters are all part of a team playbook, which is new to Monster of the Week, and we wanted to fold it into Bounty of the Week. And the team playbook has a guild master. The guild master is a woman who appears human named Liana. Liana is a retired bounty hunter with lots and lots of contacts, who she, like you, has a mean on for the Hut cartel and a specific hut in particular. Now, I wanted to talk to Will about, do we want to use like Gordo the Hut? Because I know that's a hut that you adore. Or do we want to not use Gordo because you guys might end up killing Gordo?
Hey, I'm always happy to have I have no precious things. They can all be killed or broken.
It's true. It's true. Well, for now, we'll go with generic Hut cartel until the Hut shows up. There is a Hut cartel involvement in the place where you guys are currently stationed, which is Spaceport Trident Vespa. So that might be a better choice, but that's okay. We will suss that out very shortly. And quite a few things happened in the last session. Last session was our first full session. You guys ran through a hunt, came back, and turned over Rocha Blunair, the ex-ISB agent, and came back to Spaceport Trident Vespa, whereupon a number of things were revealed, shockingly revealed, such as that Ali, who is not currently here because Keith, and Alan, Keith, and Greg all had other stuff that they had to take care of this week. So we're at half staff, which is great when you have 6 players. It's still 3, perfectly viable. But Allie and Jody switched bodies, and that's fun and bizarre, and I adore it. So we ended with that having just happened. We'll see how that turns out. And then there's a revelation with Kay's character Ken that we'll also deal with. So we're pretty much picking up right after the last session ended in the new. And I think I'm going to start with the big bombastic scene, which would be Hurid 327, the load lifter droid, which has to share screens to show this individual in fighting shape in the fighting pits of Fakbar's arena, heading towards a possibly confused looking alley, but we, the audience, know that Jody's consciousness has somehow been swapped with Allie, AL1N, and Allie had signed up to be part of this droid fighting act without really consulting with Jody, and now Jody is being part of a thing that she didn't really ask to happen. So there are a number of people yelling around you, Jody. I don't know how quickly it is that you process that you are in Allie's body, but I think it feels, if we established at the end of last session, feels much more limber. We also know that it has more armor and is a lot more suited for this kind of fisticuffs or mono and mono combat. What do you do?
So I think what we see is I think the load lister's coming for Jody and like throws a punch, and Jody like collapses to the ground and misses it and like gets up kind of awkwardly. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack the load lifter, but I'm going to go for a called shot. I want to go after where its restraining bolt is.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So yes, the load lifter droid, which is at least a foot taller than your chassis, than Allie, will lift both hands up, clasping them together like a double-fisted overhand strike as you decide to try to strike them in their restraining bolt. That is interesting. I think what you are doing is really taking them down. But one of
Okay.
the options that you could have is you have them where you want them. That could be a result where what you wanted was for them to no longer have a restraining bolt. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. You can roll plus tough, and we've decided you're just going to keep your stats even though you're in another chassis. So you'll be rolling plus tough, which is a +1 for you.
That's a 10.
Nice. So with a 10 plus, you guys will trade harm, but you get to choose one extra effect.
And the effect that we talked about was you have them where you want them to damage the restraining bolt.
Yes.
So I think that's what I'll do. Yeah.
Okay.
Is I think, and the way this looks on screen is actually I've got that big giant grav hammer that I'm not used to, and I swing it around, and the loading droid ducks out of the way, but I was actually swinging it around to get momentum and smash directly where that restraining bolt is, and where the grav hammer rebounds, we see that it's now a discus of metal kind of fall to the ground.
Yeah, and I'm imagining it was on its side because it's very tall, and
Yeah.
people who put restraining bolts on are kind of lazy, so they have it on the side, and you slam into its side. It did hit you. Maybe you didn't register the hit when it happened. The good news is the Alley's chassis is able to withstand it, so it was two harm coming at you. You have 2 armor. So it glanced off, then boom, you hit it in its side, which hurt it a little, but the freedom from the restraining bolt was what you were after. It steps
That's right.
sideways a couple times, falls down onto the ground. People are like, "Whoa, wait, is this it? Is this it?" But the load lifter droid rolls slightly over and starts to push itself up, and there's a bunch of cheering, and they're, "Finish him! Finish it! Finish it!" And they're not even giving it a gender. Jody, is there? Everyone's cheering on for you to take that grav hammer and finish the load lifter droid. What do you do?
Yeah. I think I'm trying to see if there's another move. I think I'm going to try and basically talk to them, and I think that might be manipulate someone.
Ooh,
And basically I want to tell, basically I turn to the load lifter and I'm like, you're free now. You don't have to take all the damage that's dished out to you. We can leave here together. Is there a move here?
There is manipulate someone. You can roll plus charm. That sounds interesting. Your charm is a -1.
Yes.
This is not the most charming group, it seems. Yeah, a mix.
Tim is quite charming.
Oh, that's a 4. 3. That's a 3.
That's a 3. Yeah, that's a 3. Okay, so you say you're free. You can leave here with me, and the load lifter droid, which previously I had named was Cured 327. Its little, um, it's got a singular like eye, and then what almost looks like a camera in the front. The singular eye focuses on you for a second, and people are unsure because it hasn't attacked you, and then it stands all the way up, but it doesn't respond out loud in time for when a Gamorrean steps in and hits it with an ion gun, and it starts to fall to the ground, and then the Gamorrean turns his gun on you. What do you do?
Ooh, that's great. Let's see. I think ooh, let me see what kind of weapons Allie has. Allie has a grav hammer and an energy blast from the body. That is close. I think I'm gonna run up. I think I'm gonna dodge the Gamorrean guard's fire and see if I can't get up to it and engage him.
Okay, so it sounds like you want to try to take him down.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Roll plus tough again.
Okay. That's a 13.
Wow, that is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You are made for this chassis, I think. You get to choose an extra effect.
I think I actually used to
Probably wanna
live in this chassis
Oh,
and swapped out. Everything's been swapped a
interesting.
little bit. Because the character used to look like this as well.
That's true. That's true.
But I think what we see on screen is Jody does like some weird parkour stuff, but because it's in Allie's body, the movement's very smooth and a lot easier to get by. And we see Jody dodge the shot coming in from the Gamorrean guard and then run up, and I think I'm gonna take and run up and just go all out on the Gamorrean guard. I think I'm gonna take extra harm.
Inflict terrible harm? Okay.
Yeah.
And are you then also using the grav hammer to do
I
this?
think so. So I think if I add all of this up, the grav hammer is 3 harm, and it's hand and close and messy. And then inflicting terrible harm does another one. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. Wow. I think what happens is you slam it in the head and you hear the sickening sound of the grav hammer initiating, and I think it just straight up kills the Gamorrean. Snaps his neck, and unless double checking our like, I don't think this violates any of what I saw from our safety enroller. Yeah. Nope. Okay. So yeah, kills him.
Yep. Does that sound like it would advance Alan's clock towards fighting organics?
Sure. I think it should. That is a great idea, and there we will go ahead and click that. Fighting organics, it definitely gets a tick. Thank you for reminding me of that clock.
And specifically, I think that Allie Van Bolter was trying to work her way up in the fights, so that she wasn't going to be paired against droids. She was going to be paired against the organics, and that's the intention here, is to show that I might have taken down the droid or disabled the droid, but boy, I took out that organic.
I just murdered someone who works for the fighting pit, though.
Yeah.
Yes. That is exactly what happened.
I don't know how much that's going to do for your chances of going back in the fighting pit. Right?
We'll see.
We'll see if other people, if profit is to be made, that is a possibility. But yeah, it's going to take a little bit. We'll see how that goes. That is wild. I want to see this to completion, so I want to stay in this scene for just a little bit longer. As so the Gamorrean hopped in, ion gun, like one of those heavier ion guns, hit the load lifter droid. You leapt across as he shot and tried to hit you, and he slammed in. You slammed the grav hammer into him, killed the Gamorrean, and now there's some people who are unsure. They are moving away from the fence. I'm imagining it's like a rail link fence or a chain link fence around the area, and then Fakbar is going to shut the door, shut you in at this point. And then there are a few other of his guys who are pulling out blasters with the intent of doing something. What do you do?
So I think I do the same thing. So during the last session, Jody was still in her own body and was proselytizing to, the audience, that about droid freedom. And I think I do the same thing here. I turn around to the audience as they kind of back away, like feeling threatened by Allie. And I'm like, oh, you have nothing to worry about. I'm not after sheep. I'm after the wolves in sheep's clothing. And I'll take out every one of the, we need to show that droids' rights are as important as any other sentient being. And I start to just proselytize. Yeah. And the intention here isn't necessarily to get people on my side, but it's more along the lines of to put the crowd at ease. But and I think that you said that some of the guards come out with blasters.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I'm gonna go over and kind of duck behind the load lifter, which is kind of an imposing figure.
Sure.
And I'm gonna see if I can't restart it.
Oh, nice. So you're talking about, I'm not taking out you sheep. I'm after the shepherds.
Yeah.
And you're now hoping to restart the load lifter droid. That sounds interesting to me. But I think that's the point where we cut away. As
Perfect.
blaster bolts are firing, and we'll see if you pull that off. So we cut away and back to Kin's apartment. Maybe we look at this TV mode. We like replay the little bit where she says, but my betrothed, or I'm your betrothed, and that revelation is replayed so we can see Kin's reaction as she heads over to check out another part of your apartment, but hasn't gone to the closet door
Yeah.
where we know Lack and a quantum Tion are hiding.
Begging your pardon again, I think I may have misheard you. Could you iterate as he like goes very closely to follow behind her footsteps now wherever she goes?
Tell me a little bit about this apartment. Is it like a big open space with a like living room and kitchen, or are there all the rooms separated into different areas? How do you imagine
All the
it?
rooms
So
I
I
think are
can.
separated into different areas.
Okay.
There are walls. Each room is clearly contained to what it is supposed to be. There is no like bleed over from kitchen to living room or kitchen to dining room. They're like very succinctly stacked and organized.
Okay. Cool. I think she stepped into the kitchen area, walks over to check out the hot plate. Not going to worry too much about how much of this is space kitchen versus not, but she'll lean against, like she turns and leans against the counter, placing her hands at her sides, and peers at you. This is a surprise to you? I would have expected your parents to have sent you missives.
And there's definitely like a pause. I've been out working, so I haven't checked for missives. And I think there's a clear undertone that he's not saying he hasn't, as far as Kin is aware, he hasn't gotten anything from them. Checks mailbox.
Oh, yeah, there are several ignored messages from your family. From an arrangement has been made to now, like 3 weeks ago. In 3 weeks, we believe to here's the itinerary. To reminder, here's when you should meet. When you should, sorry, Rich is spacing. Meet Gannett at the spaceport. This is the transport that she will be taking. Yeah, they've never called you via holo, but they did send information. Mostly coming from your mother, I think.
Mm-hmm. And Kin sort of pauses. Perhaps there was an internal error within the messaging mainframe.
Well, you know now. My
I
parents arranged it, and here I am.
and this is obviously they've arranged it and it's a step, but you are accepting of this as he kind of like looks around this apartment and
She also looks around. Obviously, some changes will need to be made as part of our partnership, but I am a good daughter to my parents. And I have nearly as much faith in your future as your parents do.
there's a pause in his step at that. And pray tell, fiance, what faith is that for what?
Well, I'm sure that we can chart a course together, but they do see your potential to eventually return to the family and help to steer the direction of your holdings. I can assist in that. I know that we have not spent much time together since you started as a bounty hunter, but in the intervening time, I have attended university and received several degrees, which I think will be beneficial for us both.
And what are these degrees in?
And she lists out, she has degrees in science as well as business management and xenobiology.
Mm-hmm. Anything sounds suspiciously like psychology?
Yes, yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
I
Let us
honestly
not.
expected a different reception.
What did you expect?
A little more excitement. Your parents were certainly thrilled with the idea, open to my family's proposal.
Your family proposed it. My parents did not.
Yes. And you can tell she's hiding something
Yeah.
about that proposal.
If we are going to make a union here, as is the plan, this betrothal. We must work in sync as a partnership, as you've said. What are you keeping from me?
Nice. I think we've crept into a move. I think you are trying to. Guess it feels like you might be trying to persuade her to
Yeah.
reveal more information. So, since you're relatively charming, let's see
Relatively
you roll to. It's lack, really. It's lack hiding in the closet that makes you just pale in comparison, just slightly.
Yeah. A 9. Not bad, not bad.
Not bad at all. So on a 7 to 9, they counter your offer or demand payment. She says, "It is a fair request. I would ask, Kin, and of course, this is within earshot of Lack and Tian. I would ask that what I share with you is between us only. I know that you are part of a functioning team, and I would not wish for the embarrassment of the others knowing.
You have my word that no one outside of this abode will hear from my lips about whatever is going.
During my matriculation, I fell in with a less than wholesome crowd and brought a great deal of shame to my family, as well as a not insignificant debt. Your family has agreed to help with that debt in exchange for
You're wed to me. Or you're betrothed to me, I should say.
yes.
And is this an arrangement you are actually happy about? Gannett?
If you had asked me 5 cycles ago, of course. I
I'm not asking.
fancied you, but I don't know you. You don't know me. It's awkward. I understand that. I'm not a fool. I can tell from the way you're reacting that this is not going to go well. But I have no other options.
It is a strange thing I never expected. That does not mean, and he will like reach out and like take her hand, that I will not do the right thing in this situation. But
She
there are,
brightens.
but you must understand that as a bounty hunter, there are certain aspects of my life that I am sure you would find distasteful as a lady of our society. I've been working on my rougher edges and have gained a lot of precise control over most of it. And that has brought me great comparative fortune. But it is something you should be aware of.
I understand. Perhaps talk more in detail in time. But thank you for at least being open to this. I'm sure if you wanted, you could just leave, and that would sever the contract.
And his hand sort of curls, the one that's not holding hers sort of curls at his side into a fist. As you are a good daughter, I do my best to be a good son.
I think that's a great line to cut to
Black
Lack.
in the closet.
I mean, I think if you cut over to Lack in the closet, it's just looking back and forth with Tian with hand, pressed up against the maybe with the wine glass, with the glasses we were using pressed up against the door, right? Like just staring at each other, like, oh my god, yeah,
Yeah, nice, fun, good stuff. Good. Then I think what happens, we have that, and then there's a quick chime on Lack, Tian, and Kin's comm units from Leandra. Sorry to bother you. There is a significant amount of trouble at Fakbar's fighting arena. Allie seems to have killed someone. Please head that way immediately.
Oh, I think
we're a little busy. Okay, we'll be there as soon as possible. Door cracks open slightly, crack shut.
Can I do something I think that would be very interesting? Because Kin gets that message as
No,
well.
you cannot do something you think is interesting. That is not what this game's about. Okay, what are you interested in?
Yeah. So I think Kin gets that message, and as before Lack kind of maybe goes to crack the door, he looks at Gannett and says, "This is one of those moments where you will see something that is perhaps unattuned to your senses as a lady." And he will walk over to the closet and open the door, and I feel like we see them spill out. Because Lack is leaning on it.
Yeah, we spill out, and Lack goes, yes, you're, it has passed the survey. You have no Minox in your closet, I'm happy to announce.
I was planning to bet him. That's why he was here, and this is a friend of ours. Or one of my coworkers, as he like points to you.
Nice.
Time to make your acquaintance, Gannett, isn't it? My name is Lack.
We all work together.
Closely.
Sleep. All right. A pleasure.
It could be.
Kin looks at Lack like no. He doesn't say it, but he gives him a look downward.
Lack is oblivious, sadly.
Is that sad or is it hilarious?
I'm not sure. We have a mutual individual in need of aid from our team. We must depart. My home is your home, Gannett. Make any changes or wishes you'd like. But do not, and he looks at the bedroom, his bedroom. For now, that room is private. There is he points to the guest room, I guess. If you need a rest, you may take part or put your things in here.
Dang, the big shutdown. I think she's a little disappointed by that, but understood. So we cut back to Jody in Allie's body trying to resurrect a load lifter droid with an ion cannon or an ion blaster while dodging out of the way of some actual blasters. That sounds like you need to act under pressure.
Sure. Act under pressure is cool. Hey, I'm pretty cool. Not cool enough. That's a 6.
Oh my. Yeah. So I think what happens is first you are shot, and second, when you reach out and start to hit the load lifter droid, he starts to move for a second, and then boom, 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 3 shots. He is filled full of holes and is inert. He's a droid, right? So maybe he could be brought back, but he is not standing up right now. So I think you are going to take 1 harm from getting shot. And it looks like Allie was at 5 harm out of 10.
Yeah.
So
So
I
I took
think
4
we're
out of
gonna
10.
have you. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
What I was going to say is, I think then let's just have you mark Allie's harm here. We've got it kind of highlighted instead of harm coming to Jody's chassis.
Yep. And I have like a little tab under my character that's like Allie's armor and Allie's harm, so I'll keep up with it there too.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. What
And
do you do?
I would suggest once Alan gets back, we negotiate whether that harm comes to Jody or comes to Allie, because I don't want to take narrative. I don't want to take over his character and say, "Oh, I got your character killed," blah blah blah. So yeah.
No, it's okay. Yes, we will negotiate, and I'll make sure that Alan feels this is fair. That said, knowing Alan, I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Yeah, I would agree with Will's comment in chat. Boom. You've been shot. The load lifter droid has been shot, and I'm curious, what do you do at this point?
So I don't have any idea. Maybe let's read a bad situation and see what I can find.
Oh, that sounds very clever. Brown, read a bad situation, roll plus sharp. And your sharp is 1.
That is a 7.
Ooh, with a 7, you get 1 question. You can hold, but you can ask that question. Any of the questions there on rows 81 through 87.
I think it's what's my best way out.
What's your best way out? Your best way out at this point is to just surrender, because any other way out is, there are a total of 4 individuals now who are part of the security who are intent on keeping you penned into the fighting arena and shooting you.
I think that so Jody has seized the damage to Hubert. Hubert? What was the name of the
Hurid. You actually even wrote it in chat,
Hurid.
right?
I did.
Oh, but it was a way back.
Hurid. And I think steps in front of the load lifter droid and raises both arms and says, I will go with you without any more fight if you leave him alone.
Fakbar, the Weequay who runs the fighting arena. Something's wrong with you, Allie. We're going to have you checked out. And then he says, let me put a restraining bolt on you, and this is all over.
I will go of my own volition. No restraining bolt is needed.
Oh, let's see you manipulate to get that.
Yeah. That's a -1.
Yep.
Oh, that's even worse. That's a 2.
Oh, it's so bad. That's so bad. Woo! Richie's trying to think, I don't want to just stun you. That seems
Oh.
the most direct and blunt, but I'm wondering what.
You should.
Okay. Okay. Then yeah.
So I think you should stun me and then attach the restraining bolt and drag me off.
Cool. That's what happens. Yeah, one of them switches over, boom, hits you with an ion blast, and another guy comes over with a little gun. I remember like a Jedi, yeah, Jawa in like New Hope, right? Didn't they have a little gun type thing that they used to attach a restraining bolt? And they solder that thing on. That is wild. And yeah, I think that we like some amount of time has passed. I don't think the fighting arena has started back up again, but they are starting to take bets. You see the Lack and Ken, two of you come in. You find that Tian had something else to take care of. I don't know if she blew you off or if she legitimately was told by Leandra, hey, go do this other thing, but she's not.
I mean,
it's just the two of you.
Yeah. I mean, Tian does that all the time. Often has things to do and secret calls to make and stuff like that. Likes to play it coy, right? I was kind of imagining that this is Jody getting the bun rush, to be honest. Like, like you tossed out of the fact, like you have caused trouble in the fighting arena. You have broken the rules. You've forced me to destroy one of my property. Like this is the point when you find your friend in the gutter, right? Like after the bounces.
Yeah, that way all three PCs get to be in a scene together and active. That sounds amazing. Yeah. You guys are heading up to the Fact Bar's arena. You see that they have the reader board. They're starting to sign up new stuff, but then you spot the alley is being carried out the back by a few of Fact Bar's toughs, and is tossed out into the basically the trash.
At least we don't have to go inside.
I show off the resident Jawas who are already coming to try and scrap Ali while they're. No. This is our friend, not scrap for you. Go away. Listen, you still owe me for that blaster. Jawas. Can give me a hand. They're about as heavy as they look.
He will give you a hand. Begrudgingly.
I love there's a long pause. That's great.
I imagine there was a very long pause as Lack shakily tried to hold up the droid by himself. Yeah.
Ali was in trash. I don't want to touch that.
Fine, and he gets his cloak and like wipes off some of the trash from the thing. Listen, this arm is all clean for you now, okay?
Thank you, Lack. He'll take it.
Oh boy, you see, someone put a restraining bolt on them.
How do we? Can I take out my blaster knife and just cut it, or is it too?
Now, careful! If you remove that thing, it can cause severe damage to their memory cores. It's not as easy as just blowing them off.
Yeah, if you have the right code or you slice it, it'll just pop off. But if you try to just flip it off, you could take out some of Allie's innards and cause some damage.
No.
Where is Jody as well? I would have thought they'd be the first person here.
Jody's probably off proselytizing uselessly amongst the droids.
Could be. Just as an idea, perhaps, due to this weird glitchy link, right? Like the second that Jody in Ali's body goes down, Ali in Jody's body shuts down as well, right?
That would be interesting. I kind of like that.
It solves the issue of having to fill in why the other droid who has got. Yeah.
It just means that Alan, when Alan shows up, Ali's taken some harm, and yeah, that sounds great. Okay, so Ali stays KO'd. at this point. And Jody, do we remember where Alan was going with Jody, or did we even visit that? I don't know if we visited that.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think the swap just happened, and Alan was a little disoriented, standing on this literal soapbox, and preaching, and then was like ran over and looked at the events going on in the arena.
Okay, let's say that you become aware of yourself again, and you immediately can tell, oh, I'm stiff, I'm not in the arena. And let's take a look at Spaceport Trident Vespa, and I'm just going to randomly choose a place where Jody ended up. I think it looks like you're casing the Imperial garrison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's on the Spaceport Trident Vespa tab. It's on the northernmost side, just underneath the word Vespa. You're like in the middle of a conversation with someone. If you can hear, there were words that you just said, and the person who is okay. So you're saying that it's near lane 2? Is that where it is?
Yes. I just got a message. I need to go.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much for your help.
You're welcome. And then I'm going to turn and book back.
And he's heading up the lane 2.
And I'm going to turn and book back towards the arena to try to help Allie.
Shall we just cut to being all back at the guild house?
Yes,
I personally am not that interested in role.
Yeah, I don't want to have
the carrying.
Yeah, I'm good. Yep. I'm good. Yeah, you head back. You find that they're guild house. Hey, where do we? Is it in Spaceport? Or is it off Spaceport? There. That's a real quick answer that I want to establish.
Spaceport Trident
Vespa map
is in the middle of an asteroid field. So
yep.
I've often thought of it as essentially Spaceport Trident Vespa is the settlement on this somehow slightly terraformed asteroid.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's like like atmosphere pylons or something, right? That sort of like do some kind of effect to keep the breathable atmosphere in place.
Very cool. Dig that.
And I think if you're not in Spaceport Trident Vespa, you're essentially like having to suit up to go off to the other side of the rock or something,
Nice.
So the guild house, I would imagine, is somewhere in there. Maybe where's number 4 is the Gundart fighting arena. Maybe like one of those buildings on the left, like the hangar looking things,
Cool. I like it. So not far from where you just left.
Yeah. I mean, it's down the strip, right? Like you just gotta. It's the beauty of living in a spaceport is that everything is aligned with the rows of where the ships come and go from.
Sounds good. I will add that to the map eventually, but I'm not worried about doing it right this second. Echo came in again. All good. Yeah.
Jody, you're back. I don't know what's wrong with Ali. They've been fighting in the pits, and then I hear they killed one of Vakbar's guards, and it's gone. The poodles really hit the fan. We're just lucky that we were able to get them before the Jawas scrapped them in the alleyway.
Yeah, that was kind of my fault. Sort of. Something weird happened. I think there was a problem whenever Allie did the repairs on me, because we swapped, and I was the one in the arena, but it was Allie's body, and I don't know how that's possible. But the good news is I freed Hugin.
Are you sure?
I
Well,
I don't know that
you're right.
the guards did say that there was another droid that had been quite badly damaged.
Maybe Yurid died free? We should see if we can take care of Yurid. But I didn't know how powerful Ali was. And whenever I hit the Gamorrean guard who was threatening us, um, they went down. And, you know, while it was self-defense, it
I mean, was it self-defense? From what I heard, you had kind of. Uh, was it really self-defense?
he was shooting at me.
You were.
A
Let
droid.
me understand. Like you, Ali went into fighting ring, yes, and
Yes.
in a agreed fight with a loaded droid, and then you took over their body, and then you removed
Not
the
intentionally.
restraining. No, no, I mean, I guess, but then you removed the restraining bolt from the droid owned by the fighting arena, and then they did not. They objected to how you are doing something with their what they view as their property, and then you murdered the guard who was trying to retake their property. Yes, that
No, I think we need to have words. Um, I suddenly woke up in the middle of a fight, and the creature that was attacking me, Hurid, was being forced to do so.
uh,
I removed its slave collar. I
I
removed
am.
its slave collar.
Jody,
Wait,
I
and
have heard your arguments. I am not disagreeing with you. I am simply trying to present to you what the authorities of Trident Drespa, because this is not a free droid place. This is a hive of scum and villainy with an imperial garrison. Some of us are very, there are Wookiees in slave collars here. It is not,
right, and they need to be freed.
I agree with you, but I am simply saying that they have the bigger guns right now.
True.
There is a whole alliance of rebels if you wish to go that way, I suppose, but we are here for a job, we are here for bounty hunting.
True.
Well, good luck, I guess. And he sort of touches Ali's limp body, like puts it in her more.
You have a goal, but the way you're currently metering out your goal is only giving you lacks of success in injuring those you supposedly care about right now, Jody.
Okay.
I mean, hey, Jody, if you want to break in and free droids from the arena, I mean, I always like breaking into places. They probably have some interesting stuff.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I woke up in a strange situation and did the best that I could.
Right?
And while mistakes happened, I
Just
think,
recognize that your performance was lackluster and then move on.
you were incorrect.
But whatever, I think this is going to cause us, well, it is certainly going to cause Ali some complications, and he tugs slightly on the restraining bolt and like shakes his head. And it is certainly going to cause what she called Liana some issues with Fakbar. Fakbar has some sway around here. The fighting pits are quite big business. I hear they're cartel affiliated.
So what do we need to do to resolve the issue for Liana? Because Liana's been good to us, and there wasn't any intention to cause problems there.
I think it is good time to lay low, keep heads down, maybe earn some creds. Creds make everything go away. Creds make everything happen.
So I think we could see if Liana had a good job for us that would help us get away from Vespa for a little while and maybe earn her enough money to smooth things over.
Hey,
It is a
I
possibility.
yes, I mean it can't hurt to make ourselves scarce for a little while, I think.
I do have a small issue that I must deal with now before I simply leave Fort, though.
You told her to make herself at home. I think she'll be well, kind of. You told her to make herself like hotel, I suppose, less than home.
She can make whatever changes she wishes around it. The abode, just not that one room.
I'm sure that she's totally respecting your wishes as we speak.
Of course she is.
Yes.
Got to where slowly pulling open the bedroom door.
Jody, I am engaged. Betrothed.
And you choose this method of combination?
It has been chosen for me.
Who do we need to fight to free you?
Like, Kit
Yes.
pauses for a moment, like, there is no matter of fight.
So, Lack, you pull up the bounty board, and there is a request from. I'll put some of this in chat because it's a little bit of info. But the bounty is 3 creds per. The target is named Cone Wadul, a high-level lieutenant in the Onyx Circle Criminal Syndicate, who are currently at war with the Hut Cartel. She got into trouble in Virik City and is being held in a prison on the planet of Troikan, in a penal facility next to a small mining settlement. The leaders, they want Wadul to be freed from the prison and not to stand trial. Three cred per, so it'd be not 1 cred to each of you, but 3, so effectively a bounty of 9.
This is great, Rich, because I can just copy and paste it into my notes.
Yay, I'll do that more.
And this is sort of the opposite of a bounty. This is
A release, yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Hope it's not the worst idea in the world. But I'm trying to bring in some of your enemy, because this person is an enemy of the Hut Cartel. In specific, they have had a number of unpleasant interactions with a Hut by the name of, Gorga the Younger, who has interests here on Spaceport Trident Vespa.
All right. So we just simply get this individual.
I mean,
Spring
my
it.
vote. Yeah, my vote is to. I've got the job, and we cut to Rick City, or Troikan, basically, right? Like,
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Right. Before we jump directly into all of that, I've unhidden a couple of tabs. Troikan, which is the planet, and Vic City, a little map there. But since we're about to jump into something involved, let's take our mid-game break.
Just before we go, can I just ask about? She got into
course.
trouble in Rick City and is being held prisoner in a penal facility next to a small mining settlement called Rick City. So she got in
it's a
trouble with small
repeated
mining.
sentence. Just take out that
Cool.
second sentence, and that's
Cool,
what's
cool. Yeah.
going on.
I also have a move that at the start of every hunt gets rolled. Would you like to do that before the break?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. It is roll plus sharp at the start of a hunt, and you have hold for your people's ways to provide some help or intel. My sharp
Nice.
is 1. And that is a 6. Oh. And I haven't been marking XP.
Aw, well, you can go back in the roller and look
That's
at
right.
all your pitiful failures.
Exactly. On a miss, your people's taboos or enemies will prove dangerous.
Ooh, who do you imagine are the enemies of your people?
Well, of course, people who want to buy and sell droids.
Oh, cool. Hey, take a look at that Vrick City. There's a droid ghetto there. Wow.
Fantastic.
Awesome. You had a question, Will?
No, I was just saying that, like, the enemies of his people, he's just really royally pissed off a lot of enemies of his people, right? Like, by killing a Gamorrean guard who was trying to, retake his boss's property. While there's no, like, that Gamorrean may have had, cousins, brothers.
Oh, that
something like
Gamorrean has lots of family now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's some like angry squealing and all that good stuff.
Probably, like, the only reason that Ali wasn't just scrapped, right, there and then is because it would cause trouble with Liana, right? Like, because otherwise, it's a high risk of villainy. I can't comprehend why, if you murder one of the criminal syndicate,
why
they don't just
destroy
bring you
you
back. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Liana likely had a thing with Fakbar where he said, just keep that thing out of here. And next time it will be destroyed on sight.
You're barred.
Yep, you're barred. Cool.
Okay.
Let's take our... Okay. Troikan is a planet in the Outer Rim. It is within the area known as the Imperial Remnant, or Zinj's Empire. And the planet itself is tidally locked, meaning that it doesn't rotate. So half the planet is incredibly hot, the half that is facing its sun, Kalundra, and the other half is freezing cold. And there's only a narrow band around the equator that is agreeable for humanoid life. The native species of Troikan from tens of thousands of years ago is a 4-armed creature named the Zexto, and also another piece of information that is interesting about Troikan is that it is a nearby planet in the same system called Quirmia, and both planets entered the Empire at the same time, and there's a pretty close relation between the Quirmians and the Zexto. That said, since they were brought into the Empire, Troikan has been much more open to outsiders. And Vrick City is the newest city in all of Troikan. So it is about as old as 30 years old, 30 cycles old. So it's still being built. There are cranes. There is a large amount of construction that seems to always be taking place. And most of it is droids that have been building this city. So that is your boilerplate of information. Vrick City is primarily a mining city. So there's a lot of processors mineral processing, and it is on the border with what's called the Elvion's Wastes, which is the beginning of the frozen section, or the shaded side of the planet. So you guys arrive in your the Nightingale. Ooh, yay! You guys arrive in the Nightingale, and there is a decent spaceport there. There's a pretty heavy Imperial presence at the spaceport. So, you guys land, and I'm curious, what do you do? We can do one of two things. We can spend some time with you trying to gather information, or you can also just jump into making a plan and heading that way.
Well, we know where she is. She's in the prison facility. Gesture at some sort of hologram, like flickering blue hologram of Rick City and the planet and everything, right? Like, I don't think we've maybe got the juice to do this like a loud job, Maybe we need to find out more about this, find a back way in, or something like that.
I'd concur without Chucks. We're missing some of our heavy hitting.
I told him to just pay for the Bacter, but he insisted on trying to stitch himself up himself.
This does not surprise me.
Should we then do a round of investigation scenes and then see if we, because I think currently our make a plan would be based upon too much complete supposition as opposed to,
Sounds good. I think even though it says investigate a quarry, that is a pretty flexible move and would likely be the best route to gather information.
It's the gather information move, basically, isn't it?
It is.
Investigate a mystery.
Yeah, investigate a mystery. Yeah, it's that you've worked out what it was originally.
So smart.
Best efforts. Yeah.
We tried to obfuscate it by using different words.
We did have it called investigate a bounty, but I felt like we used the word bounty far too many times for it to be legible constantly. But we are investigating a quarry. We're investigating our quarry, who is in this prison. How do we get them out?
Exactly.
Does anyone have any scenes in mind? Any roots? Kin or Jody? No? And I mean, Jody,
do we all individually, or how do we want to work?
I was thinking we'd do it like the montage, maybe, of like, each of us goes off and because we may all end up rolling the same move, or we might have playbook moves, but I think that they'll each build off each other, in terms of like our ways in, what opposition we're going to face, any opportunities that we might be able to exploit, perhaps ways of not being identified as the people who have done a prison break. Well, I guess I will start then. I've got I have friends on the force, I have some that might come in handy for acting under pressure to get in touch with them. But I think that really what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask somebody I know who is in like a corrupt Imperial who I need to come up with, who is some sort of like sector coordinator, for the system. So why don't we call them? I always struggle with imperial names. Like
Well, there's a names and species helper tab.
there is a name and species helper tag. Why don't we go with Lieutenant Zorabos, who is I think a imperial coordinator for the sector, in charge of logistics and what would be a good word for it and compensation for contractor compensation. So basically, like this is one of the people who's involved in making sure that the Imperials, like basically signing off and getting the Imperials' wallet to open up to people who like bounty hunters and other such scum and villainy who work for the Empire in various shady ways.
Okay, that's good.
But Lieutenant Zorabos is, also likes to wet her whistle.
How do you spell that?
I've put her in the NPC.
Oh, you did. Excellent.
Thing.
Thank you very
Row
much.
43. I'll find a picture for her at some point. But
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
I'm thinking, like many people who operate on the more venal side of institutions, where the money exchanges hands and where they're already participating in something that's slightly below the prim and proper external thing, is that she's bent as anything. Like she will take bribes, she will do favors. It's all about feathering her own nest, basically. Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
sounds amazing. She sounds repugnant and the kind of person that Lack would establish a relationship with for
yes,
various reasons. So you're reaching out to her friend on the Force, you say?
yes, yeah. And I think maybe that's involves having to leave the ship in Vrick City and go and pay some, strange half robot, half tentacle creature person who, waves some tentacles over at a comms booth at the back, and there's like a ramshackle dish on top of this thing, right? And I basically bought myself some comms time with a powerful transmitter, a powerful enough and secure enough transmitter to speak to Zorobos over the holonet on, because I think the difficult part of being the space thing is that if you introduce your friends on the Force to some degree, you want them to be multiple planets rather than just one, right? Otherwise, it's
Exactly.
always like, so yeah. I think it'll come through in a very pissed off looking, a very cold and haughty looking person. It flickers up on a little thing. Lack is sat back with something that he's bought from the nearby vending machine on the table. Zora, oh, so glad you could make time for me. I was just wondering. I'm here on a vacation in Vic City, and there's I wanted to know about sites. There's a local mining colony. Half the world is frozen ice, half the world is boiling hot. But here in this little sweet spot, there's Vic City, and I hear there's a dangerous prison full of dangerous criminals as well.
Have you now? Well, I will say you should speak with a travel agent and have them sacked because where you're at is the ass end of the universe. Yes. But if you're asking specifically about the prison, I would stay clear. Stay very clear.
You know me in prisons. I try my best to stay clear, and somehow I end up in there anyways. But
you see her reach off screen, pull back a data pad. She's looking up to see if you're in the prison.
Should I perhaps roll investigate a query here?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. I think currently the way that Lack is doing this is it's mutual favors. You know what I mean? Like you do me a little favor here, I can maybe do you a little favor down the line. But let's roll plus sharp, where I'm not amazingly good at. That's 7 though.
With a 7 on this particular move, you get to hold 1 and ask a question in
Yeah.
the conversation.
What is the what are the weaknesses of this prison, basically? You know, I hope people don't escape from this prison. There must be good security, or the good people of Vrick City could be, you know, in danger.
It could be, but I wouldn't be terribly worried about it. You see, I actually happen to have contracts. While there is a decent garrison at the spaceport, the prison is under the auspices of the locals. They seem to depend a great deal on their droids. Anyone who's clever can find their way in. I wouldn't call it holes like one would find in bubbly cheese, but no loss of opportunities.
So there's not an
And
Imperial facility. That's very reassuring.
Very reassuring to me, since you're obviously going to cause trouble.
Never. I would never cause trouble. Not again, anyways. Okay, so it is, and I apologize, Rich. For some reason, you're sounding a little bit fainter than you normally do for me.
Oh, weird. Okay, I will try to
yeah.
speak louder and enunciate.
But I think what I heard was that basically this is run by the locals and they use a lot of droids. Is that correct?
Yes.
In the prison?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's run by the locals. They have a high trust level with droids, so droids do most of the work.
Well, I know someone who will maybe like that. They'll probably have complex feelings about it. Thanks, Zorabos. You know, and he's about to say, I owe you one, and then he goes like, I look forward to returning the favor.
Oh, I'll keep that in mind, darling. Don't get caught. You might want to keep your trip short. I hear trouble's coming.
Trouble?
And then she'll end the conversation at that point.
She always does that. He he finishes his Star Wars Monster Energy drink and Sith energy drink, I guess. Rancor.
Ping! You're drinking Ping, buddy.
I'm drinking Ping. Okay, yeah. And I leave and toss a coin to the tentacle robot's proprietor.
Nice.
So, the prisons are run by locals and the droids do most of the work. But there's a potential some sort of trouble that may hit the thing. Lack will obviously share that with the rest of the crew.
What about Kin? What is your plan here?
Yeah, so I think Ken is going to do something unusual. I think he wants to see. He's not necessarily as focused on the mission as he should be. As he's sort of trying to find a place to gather information, he wants to kind of almost feel out with the Force to see if he feels anyone else who is perhaps of the Force.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'd like to see that too. What move are you engaging?
That's what I'm trying to figure out here and have been for the last few minutes.
It could be not because I don't think there are any playbook moves that work well.
Yeah,
it
I don't
could
think there's
also
any.
be an
So I think
investigate.
that's what I'm
investigate the
thinking.
prison.
Yeah.
We're just it's via a different vehicle, but I like it. And I think
Yeah.
you can get some information.
Trying to get a +1 to sharp. Oof, a 6. But hey, my first failure in the
Oh.
game.
Hey, I think you can cross off a drive box and make it. What does he call
Yeah,
upon the
I'm
dark
good.
path? You can cross off a drive. Okay, you also could call for aid from a friend, or you can just
Ooh.
have that XP, that shiny XP.
How would you imagine that you would call for aid with a
That's what I was wondering. How can I
telepathy?
call aid
Exactly.
in this? I don't
Yeah.
think I can as much as I might like to.
Maybe if one of us was a Zen master or something, right? But I don't think that any of us are particularly like.
I think we're
It
just
makes sense.
taking the shiny XP, and something but probably not so great's going to happen to Kim when he reaches out with the Force. He may still
Oh,
get what he
man.
wants. He may meet someone who's Force sensitive, just maybe not the best person. Who knows? I trust you,
Who
Rich.
knows? Thanks. I appreciate it. Cool. So let me.
He de-ages and suddenly meets that one guy who kills all the Jedi children.
Oh no! Don't do that. That's a lot. I have feelings, complex feelings.
See?
Sweet. So you're reaching out through the Force. Where are you when you do this? Are you on the Nightingale? Did you head out to one of the Brick City areas in Downside to find a seedy place, or where do you imagine you are?
I think he's just walking through the streets. I don't know if it's necessarily CD specifically, but he's kind of going through some of the streets, just trying to feel where the Force takes him.
Nice. So you follow your instincts and feel a gentle tug towards an area. Let's find a place where you end up. That'll be fun. You end not far from the droid ghetto. And it's the droid ghetto has the heavy smell, coppery smell of blood, and also the smell of rust. There's a orange patina to everything here, and the droid ghetto is not only where droids who no longer have enough use to be functional are stored, it's also a giant junkyard. And you come upon one of the native species, the Zexto. Yeah, I think it's Xexto. A Zexto. They're little four-armed creatures that stand perhaps 4 feet tall. They have elongated necks. There's a picture of one on the NPCs tab right by Cohen. And you come upon one of them that has a droid head for people who might. It's like an HK series droid, and the Zexto is looking at that, and they look up at you, and they say, "What brought you here, big one? You seem interesting." And you feel the gentle tingle of the presence of the Force. You also feel something probing at you. What do you do?
I've come here looking to find a place of information, a hub of knowledge. And
I find
one,
none of that here.
I disagree. I believe I've found one right now. And please mind your fingers.
Scrambles and well, most Zexto walk upright. This one seems more natural to walk like ape-like, except using its bottom pair of hands and its feet. So it bows its back just a little bit and ambles along to get closer to you. Mind my fingers. Why?
Not the ones I can see, the ones I simply feel.
You. Are the blinders coming off? Are you starting to see?
I believe I've seen my whole life.
What cataracted eyes you have. Someone could show you how to truly see the universe. Now you only clutch and grab like a child. Stubby little fingers.
Ooh. I would retract some of your rather disgraceful statements.
What makes my statements disgraceful? Are true. Is
Yeah.
it disgrace that you are a child? Mewling and crying with your lack of knowledge?
Like it's clear his face is trying to maintain a sort of calmness, but the anger is sort of dripping into his features a bit.
Oh, you hear that call very clear. Makes you so dangerous, does it not? What are you called?
I am called Kin. And what are you called?
Orsi. Are dangerous in the way an angry child is dangerous.
I am not dangerous. I am capable and able.
Prideful too. Disappointing though. A little disappointing.
This meeting
Then-
seems
Lorsi like turns and starts to walk away from you, as if this entire interaction is done with them.
Kin had been about to walk away, but now he's walking away from him. And that is just unacceptable intrinsically as this sort of that passion that kind of burbles up in him at the idea. And I think he's gonna reach out with the force and try and bring him back.
Oh, amazing! This sounds so good to me.
Yeah, this is
adore this.
take a harm. Maybe. Well, we'll see how I roll before I put that on my
Yeah, we'll
sheet.
see how you. So you're going to go with the power of the force.
Force,
right? You
yeah.
get to
Power
move
of the force.
through a roll with a force. Roll plus tech.
Okay, so that's an 8.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So on a 7 to 9, so you'll mark harm, and on a 7 to 9, you can make a choice unless you want to.
No, I'll take that harm, and it's the precise control, because this is Kin exercising and showing that he is indeed not some blithering, angry, prideful child. He can utilize his force as he makes this individual turn, face him, look him in the eyes, and then kind of almost, and let me know if this is too much. Tilt his head down, but it's like a jarring movement. So he does as if he shouldn't be looking Kin in the eyes, as if he doesn't deserve it, as he then pushes the creature back to him.
Nice. That is. Yeah, I think what we hear the audience watching the show of this.
This has background that Kay doesn't appreciate, but still thinks it sounds good.
its eyes widen, and there's a moment where you first pick Lorcy up that they jerk, seem a little surprised, and then they relax into it, seeing that this is just you proving some kind of mastery, asserting dominance. Oh, surprised. Interesting. Could be so much more. Kin. Truly learn. But you avoid. Ignore. And when the emotion is strong, do you call upon the force? Let me go.
After you have given me some information, as you have already taken my time.
What is it you wish to know, little kin?
There's a penile facility located next to this mining settlement. I need to extract an individual. What do you know that can be of aid to me in this?
And you feel Lorcy, those fingers again. Show me. Who is your target? Who do you wish to free, and why?
I have made an agreement to do it, therefore it is my obligation. And we see kind of that image of Cohen and Wadu.
This one has many enemies. Your droid friend can help you. Yes? You had best keep that one from trying to cause another revolution. Tendrils of it will latch you to this place. Never fulfill your destiny. I'd best hurry. The enemies of this Trandoshan are coming.
As Kin gently kind of releases them from this force hold. You do not understand what it is to be Chiss. I have no destiny, simply obligation.
Do not understand the universe. Everyone has a destiny.
Then let
You're
mine.
done with me, child.
Yeah, and I think he just fully lets it go. And then, if destiny is such a thing, then let mine come find me while I fulfill what I must do. And he's gonna turn and start walking away.
Yeah. Lorcy will let you walk away. As if Lorcy had anything to say about it. What about Jody?
Hopefully, not starting a revolution.
I mean, how could Jody not start a revolution? This place is so rife and ready for a revolution.
So, I think Jody's going to try to talk to her people. And I have a move called Underground, which seems to apply fairly well. They have your people have well-connected channels between worlds to help its members. Once per hunt, you may use them. If you establish communication with a sect, roll plus charm, and you get hold to be someplace you need or an object ready. So I think I'm going to reach out um, to some of the droids in the area. Um, I think I'm going to name one of them. T-D1. I'm gonna reach out to them and let's roll. I'm very bad at my charm, so let's see what that looks like. It does have a fail. It happens, but I didn't fail. I got a 7. A 7 and 9
What?
is hold 1. So that means I can be somewhere if I need to, or get a useful object, or something like that.
Let me see that move again. Sorry, let me pull that
And no
up.
problem.
Joe, underground. Okay, 7 and hold 1. Cool. And you were choosing which of the options for your 7 to 9 hold?
Um, so I think I'm just gonna hold on to that.
Okay.
And potentially use it in play. One of the options is to give +1 forward to another hunter or take it from myself. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that that might be useful if someone gets in a sticky situation. So I think otherwise Jody is trying to I think she's trying to dress up a little bit so that it's not as noticeable that she's a droid. So she's doing the whole Star Wars thing of wearing a cloak, with the cowl pulled
Nice.
down and everything, and probably has like a rebreather on. So, the mechanical voice sounds like it's an alien who can't breathe normal air.
Nice. So, are you headed to the droid ghetto to mingle, or are you actually trying to mingle around other parts of Rick City?
I think I probably had to go to the droid ghetto in order to make contact with my people. Um, I
Makes
think
sense.
I envision sort of this as sort of like the Underground Railroad kind of thing. This is, but
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
situation is really bad at Rick City. Um, yeah.
I think you find people who you expected were part of the movement who, for various reasons, are no longer actively trying to pursue any kind of freedom. One of them has fallen into uh, a type of stupor. Another it has, yeah, I think so. TD1 is the contact you're reaching out to.
Yeah.
You find that TD1 is in the droid ghetto, and that they actually um, they're bought into part of, so they're no longer actively part of your group.
Hmm.
They are repairing droids and putting them back out to work.
Um, and so I basically, as I go through the droid ghetto, I hit my contacts and I start seeing them. And when I see TD1, I think we see Jody kind of walk up, and we see TD1, finishing up some repairs and then selling the droid to one of the people here in Rick City. And Jody just kind
Mm-hmm.
of pulls the cowl down a little bit back and steps back. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna make our presence known, because that would blow our job.
And here is the remote control for the new droid. Best of luck with them serving you.
TD1 turns and scans the area with their oculars, and the Zexto with the new droid in tow has the remote and walks in the thing, walks after them. It's a young Zexto. They're like 2.5 feet tall. Eventually, they figure out how to make the droid pick them up and carry them. And the droid walks away carrying the little Zexto.
And I think we see this, we see through Jody's eyes basically a readout and TD's name, and then it like uh next to it, the graphics, it's like um burned, this person is out, line crossed through it. Yeah. And I think I'm gonna head back to the ship, and I think it's probably too dangerous for my apprentice here, um, V2G. But I think once I get
Hmm.
back to V2G, I'm gonna feed them the information on the network to update uh the network here on Brick City to remove the droids that are no longer in the service of the underground, just to make an update of the network.
Amazing. And I think so V2G speaks in binary, if I remember correctly,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
So V2G seems disappointed. Why would TD1 cease functioning in the network? Have they been disabled?
Some of the others have been disabled. V TD1 has um chosen a different path than freedom, and uh seems to have reverted back to the old ways.
The old ways? The ways of the Empire?
Um, the old ways of serving a different master um than themselves. It's a choice, but it's not necessarily. It's one I would normally talk to TD1 about, but right now we have a job to do. Maybe if there's a chance afterward, after the job is completed.
So many droids. Should we not concentrate our efforts for success?
Um, we have a job to do first, and it's you've heard the old adage, put your mask on first. We have to take care of ourselves so that we can help others in the future. In this case, we've caused enough trouble. We need to try to make sure that this job goes off successfully so that we will be able to um, help droids like TD1 in the future.
Understood.
Um, it's important that you stay here on the ship, um, because otherwise, um, droids aren't treated well here, and you might be in danger. Um, it's why I have to go out in hiding.
I can fly away. Perhaps you should
Um,
stay on the ship.
you can fly away, however, um, they probably have ways of, stopping flying droids. It's an obvious thing. It's better not to be noticed, and you would be noticed.
It does little R2D2 like moo when you tell it that it would be captured, and it doesn't have an argument against that because, as we know, B2G is a little agreeable. Let me know how I may assist. I will do so.
Certainly.
So, does Jody have the realization that V2G has made itself subservient to Jody? And how does Jody feel about that?
Absolutely. I think this is common between newly freed droids. If they expect to have a master that tells them things, and Jody's the whole reason of having an apprentice is that um to push them to be more uh to have their own uh what's the right word? To do things on their own. So not just take orders, but to push them to say, hey, this is something. I can make the decision about.
I see. Okay. Is everyone satisfied with the scenes that they've had and ready to get back together? Potentially come up with a plan?
Yes.
Okay.
So
For those experience. Oh, yes.
yeah, I mean, I figure we just talk about what we each found out, and I think the role is whoever comes up with whoever proposes a plan is the person who's going to roll for it. And in my experience,
right.
it's very fun when somebody proposes a plan that their character is exceptionally bad at, but they're the one who proposed it. So,
It's
you
the
know.
best.
Yes, it's a local, it's not run by the Imperials, actually, so we don't have to worry about stormtroopers or, ATSTs or E-webs or any of those kind of like heavy military gear. And it won't, I suppose we can probably, not be as quiet as we might have had to be if it was the Imperials. We don't have to worry about the people of Vrix. What's the worst that could happen? They put a bounty on our heads, right? But yeah, otherwise, they have a droid at work for us. What did you guys find out?
Jody, you will be instrumental in our actions. As a droid, as Lack has mentioned, they are mostly droid forced, and your connectivity within those will be paramount for a successful mission here. However, I have seen that there is much caution to be with your beliefs, which are valid, but in this case, we must perform our mission, and in doing so, we cannot incite rebellion.
Why not both?
We will fail.
I'm perfectly willing to delay any rebellion until the job is completed.
Perfect.
First step is the job. Second step would be to talk to the droids here to see if they could potentially learn the freedom of their actions.
As long as the job is done first.
Yes.
It seems to me that those are not exclusive things. I see what you're saying, Kin. If we were to try and lead a droid revolution here, then yes, we would be diverting our energies. But in terms of, our mission, we have one droid with us, yes, who could be useful to, slip in. But if we wish to gain support from the droids who are working there, then we would be laying the grounds of revolution already by having them act against their owner's instructions, yes? Like, just because it benefits us does not mean it may not also benefit the local droids and the cause of freedom.
As long as it is not done with that intention, and it is only a secondary active of our actions, that might be acceptable. But again, it shouldn't be done just to do it for its proper and good reasoning, but only if it facilitates the mission.
She's always concerned with your motivations and why you are doing things. The galaxy does not care about motivations. It only cares about what happens. But so just to recap, the things we found out was the Trandoshans enemies are coming, right? So there is somebody implication coming. And I wasn't entirely clear because I had to nip for a bio break. TD1 found out, no, TD1 is a droid that has turned its back on the droid freedom movement, and TD1 is at the prison. Is that correct?
I don't think TD1 was at
sure.
the prison. Oh.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
if they're
we
not,
hadn't established
whatever.
that, but I'm not opposed to it. We can stick
Well, I mean-
one.
we're going to the prison. I think narratively, the more stuff that is at the prison, the more it actually has a presence in the game, right? Because I don't see us sticking around Rick City after we've got broken out the bounty.
It's your new hangout. You guys
Yeah.
hang out of Rick City.
What are you talking about? I have a Jedi Master now.
Exactly.
What if-
So this is
What
totally
if
like a
TD1
hangout.
actually, while we were watching, has a delivery of droids to take to the
That sounds amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you read my mind. That's totally where I was gonna try to
Is that
go it,
what-
so let's just say that's true.
Is that what Jody found out though? Because otherwise I'm struggling to see what Jody's aspect.
Well,
has
Steven
to
chose
the
not
matter.
to use the hold, but we can use that as
Okay.
a narrative way for some.
No, chose not to use the hold. I see. Yeah. Okay. Well, I would suggest that perhaps, we are two organics. We are either prisoners or we are respectable visitors, or we are late, contractors or something like that. We have a droid. You are familiar with this TD1, yes? Could you perhaps, and they have turned their back on your revolution, perhaps you could take the place of TD1, and we could use this as our way into the prison. And then, I have been many things in my time. I have pretended to be, well, I have been pretending to be many things. A bounty hunter, for example. But we could be, that would give us access to the prison via the back route. We are perhaps technicians who are here to investigate droids who are malfunctioning. And then we use that to gain access to get to our quarry, and we slip them out inside of our repair vehicle, or whatever it is that TD1 is driving, that we will steal from them.
That sounds perfect.
Sounds like Will that Lack
Yeah, like
suggested the
plans.
plan.
Which is why I chose a plan that was about talking, persuading, manipulating, or lying.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty clever of you. Good work. Cool. So you're already reading the move. Let's have you engage that bad boy. So if you go to the basic moves, just so everybody's on the same page, make a plan starts on row 115, and it sounds like you are using charm, which is a +2 for you.
Yes. Take +1 if the plan is supported by plenty of resources and people. I don't think that's true.
I don't
Nope.
either.
Take +1 if we're basing the plan on accurate current information. That's up to the keeper, I think. Yes.
What's a keeper?
Oh,
Sorry.
the GM. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The guild
Sorry,
master.
it's a ongoing back and forth conversation that we have that amuses me to probably more than it should.
I will always
I
default
think
to the keeper.
I know you will. I know you will. And it is a legacy of the Monster of the Week, which is where it came from. So it totally makes sense. I have GM written on my name thing, so I'm being an ass. Anyway,
So
you guys
is
had scenes to establish information. I think it's up to date.
Cool.
I think you're.
Cool,
I
cool.
think that makes sense.
so that's a +1. We don't. I think there's no significant dissent. We're not disagreeing on what it is. Even in, we don't like meta or in character.
Jody, do you dissent about the hey, don't free any droids here so we can actually do our job?
Oh, actually,
Checking.
that's an interesting one, because I think that actually Lack and Jody agree on that one, and I think that Kin's the one who disagrees that
Ooh.
this is a useful one. So I think there is might dissent there, right?
Just checking.
Yeah.
You guys don't have to manufacture dissent if I perceived it and it isn't there.
So I think Jody has a sequence. We do the job first, then we free the droids.
And lack, then I think that is dissent, because I think that Mac would totally be like, no, once the job is done, we're done. Like
Yeah.
we either do it. Yeah. So I think that is dissent. Then yeah. You are like, yeah, sure, we'll do objective A, and then I'll do objective B, as opposed to cool, okay. So that's
And your objective B is we're on the Nightingale getting the hell out of Dodge. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And is there significant opposition that would interfere with the plan? I'm going to presume there is.
Yeah. It's pretty
Yeah.
significant opposition.
That's a -2 and a +1, so that is a -1. So I'm rolling with a +1 thanks to my charm.
Thanks to your charm.
Four.
A 4.
Can I assist?
You cannot assist on a makeup plan because it presumes that we are all
Yeah.
involved
All
anyway.
together already.
And you
On
get
a miss,
XP
you
for
find
that, right?
yourselves- Yeah, because you rolled it. Although, Will, should that be a thing where everybody in the plane gets an XP? Because you're all gonna get.
Yeah, I think XP's scarce enough in this game, given the number of times you can negate the ability to get it. So yeah,
Well-
I'd go with that. Yeah, everybody gets XP.
I will comment. So far, I've had 4 XP during this session alone, and I've leveled up twice.
I'll
Okay.
comment that I have barely gotten XP this entire series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's sort of feast or famine.
Yeah, I would say that is the result of you having an extended period where you made a bunch of rolls in solo, where there was
Yep.
no room for call for aid. Whereas if you'd done that with other people around, that would have probably been bumped up to a success, because someone would be like, "Well, I don't just watch them fail." You
Yeah,
know?
I agree.
But that is a good tweak. That is a good bit of playtesting thing to be like, on a miss, your plan falls apart, and let's start that to the keeper now, shall we? Everyone,
Thank
mark
you. You're a
XP.
step ahead of me. I appreciate that.
And then I'll add that to the note, to the thing as well. So, on a miss, we find ourselves in over our head or under fire as this foolproof plan falls apart completely. Rich gets this.
Amazing.
How
Have
far
fun,
along?
Rich.
Man, I'm so used to mixed successes that a failure is just delightful. Here's how it goes down. First of all, we'll just do like a couple of montage to get us to the point where the GM moves happen. So there's going to be some narration. There's going to be some questions. Jody, are you posing as TD1? And these guys, as in Lack and Kin, are a couple of contractors who are coming. That's what you guys settled on, right?
I think so.
Yes.
Cool. So Jody, you come in posing as TD1, and you interface with a couple of load lifters and even a battle bot, like an old B1, the old Clone Wars era B1. Yeah, I don't know why my background lighting's messing up. So you guys get in. Like, they accept that without any. They even address you as T1. They escort you. The 3 of you are escorted into an area. You're able to, Jody, you dial in with the cool like R2D2 thing, and you locate that Cohen, where she is located, and you guys are headed to where Cohen is. You have the sector where she is in the ICE outpost Ragnar prison facility. When as you're moving along, the entire, like, the power plant, we like cut outside, the power plant explodes, and you're inside, metal hall, metal doors. The door was starting to open as you were heading to the last section where the cells are. When power plant explodes, all the power in here goes down. You see Jody's eyes lighting up your area, and then you hear another explosion on the other side of the half open door, which is the section where Cohen is located. Someone else is here. What do you do?
Someone else is in Cohen's cell, did you say?
Someone else is on the other side. So imagine you're in a hallway. The last section is the section of cells where Cohen it has been identified and is located. Power goes down before the door opens up. You see someone come up, and they are using some kind of device to cut into the cell where Cohen is, and there are a few others with them who have visors on, infrared visors to be able to see what they're doing. They have blaster rifles, and
We need
you see several destroyed droids behind them.
we need to move on them. These are the enemies most likely here to take them out.
Hey, this is our jailbreak. Get out of here.
Someone can just head the wall.
One of them just like boo, 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 starts firing, and blaster bolts hit the door by you. And yeah, you hear them in a mechanized voice from the suit that they are wearing saying, "Hustle up! We've got company."
Force throw time.
Oh, nice. That seems like problems
Yeah, let's play
to
bowling
solve
ball
with
with these people.
violence. I like it. Power of the Force.
Yeah, I'm gonna play bowling ball. These guys are pins and whatever. I'm gonna grab the one that's shooting at us and try and bowl him into his friends.
Sounds awesome. Go ahead and roll plus tech.
I see Evan.
A 7. So you're going to go ahead and mark harm, and you get to choose one.
I'm gonna do extra
Something is
harm.
hurt, 2 harm smash.
2 harm smash.
2 harm smash. Awesome. Yeah, you snatch up that guy. He lets a little irk and slam him into another one of his compatriots, and now they are moving hot. Like they're trying to get into the door, and you seem to have caused enough chaos here that when one of them finally slices open the door, Cohen explodes out into the hallway, slamming the door into one of them. Like she's in the middle of it.
Owen, we're here to bring you to safety. These people are here to kill you.
It's not conversation time yet because there's a Trandoshan trying to maul someone with a door in their mouth, and there are 4 combatants in here. So, Jody, what do you wish to do?
So I'm gonna go after. I'm gonna try and clear the way so that Lack and Ken can. I'm gonna engage with the enemy so that Lack and Ken can kind of engage with our target. So I think I'm going to just wade into the fight.
Okay.
And that would be take someone down.
Yeah, yeah. You
That's
can
tough.
also, if you're trying to protect them, you can do that instead.
Let's look at the. Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Let's protect someone. We don't see that engaged enough. That's
I
tough.
agree.
That is a 12.
Nice.
So I protect them, but I'll suffer some of the harm that they were going to get, and I choose an extra, which I think is hold the enemy back.
Nice. Cool. So you hold the enemy back from being able to fire on Cohen. By the way, um, you, I think Lack would be the one who notices that they all have binders with them. This may not have been a bit of wet work, but an extraction. That
Um,
said, Cohen obviously does not want to be taken by these individuals from the way that Cohen is acting. Just so we're, is that clear? Does that make sense? Okay,
um,
cool.
what is the advanced on the moves?
Ah,
Is that something you have to
advanced?
level up to take?
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, just stealing the Monster Hearts or Monster of the Week tech, not Monster Hearts. Oops. Yeah, you have to advance basic moves in order to get that. I unhid. It's rows 90 through 97 under advanced improvements where you can advance them.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So you draw some of their focus and also make sure that they do not get their way with Cohen. Lack, what do you want to do?
Lack is bu- 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 um Lack is gonna return fire with his heavy blaster pistol,
Mm-hmm.
and then probably duck back as another shot explodes. So what we got? We got Jody taking on one of them, right? Cohen fighting the person who's got the door, and then the other two are essentially like,
One just got thrown around by Ken.
yeah, by Kin. Yeah, one of them got thrown up against the corridor by Kin. I'm going to I think read a bad situation, frankly.
Oh, that sounds
This
clever.
looks like a bad situation, frankly.
It kind of is.
That is an 11.
Well, you get to
hold
hold 3.
3. Um, are there any dangers we haven't noticed? Such as, say, the authorities of this prison suddenly having a firefight in the middle of the cells.
Yeah, the authorities of this place are becoming aware, and they obviously any danger they haven't noticed. Something is preventing the system from kicking over to auxiliary power, which means that this is the hit team, and there must be some support structure that they have. So these aren't the only members of this team as part of this action. Does that make sense?
There are more of them here because they've disabled the prison's security systems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
cool.
Someone's running Overwatch. They've got support structure.
Yeah. What is most vulnerable to lack? A fairly weedy stun grenades, vibro knife, blaster, con man, essentially, right? Like, is there anybody who looks scared or frightened or,
Oh, yeah, the one who's being attacked by Cohen is the one who's in the most trouble. And then the one who is probably the most off balance is the guy who Ken just used as a bowling ball against one of his compatriots.
Okay. Don't suppose there's like an open jail cell that he's been thrown into, or staggered
Sure.
himself up from in front of that open door that I could kick him into, perhaps, and slam the hatch behind.
That sounds fun. If you want to use that as your action, you can take your +1 from reading a bad sitch. By the way, you have a third question. It's a hold,
Yeah, I
so
do.
you can use it later.
I will hold that, but it will definitely be what's our best way out is the next one.
Okay.
But I think that's a question for when we've resolved this situation, right? So yeah, I will completely scenery sort of like dress kind of fluff shooting and firefight kind of thing, the exchange of blasts bolting around it, and then Lack's going to say Griff, and then he's gonna roll around the corner and then sprint and try and like just shoulder barge this guy into the open, the one that he picks himself up from Kin's force blast, and
that sounds like an act under pressure to me.
Yeah.
Kick
him inside and then shoot the control panel so it locks shut. Act under pressure with a +1 and what do I have in cool? A +1, so +2 overall.
Hey, you're built for this.
And that's another 11.
Oh man, when you got to start rolling bad in a minute, just know this. Will used up all the good rolls. That is amazing. You do exactly what you meant to do. Now, just so I'm clear, did you you went after the guy that had been battered around, bowling ball guy, right?
because I think he
Okay.
bowling ball, like bang, and then as he's sort of like staggering up, right, like he's leaning against the wall and like catching his breath for a second, and that's when Lack just like rolls in, puts up and barges him into the prison, grabs himself on the door, and then sits back down and just like on the corridor, and boom, boom, straight into the control panel. Then it just goes, ding, 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 ding on the inside,
Yep,
right?
Yep. 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 I like it. Cool. Sweet. So let's circle back around to Kin. One of them, the guy who was a bowling pin, has drawn up his blaster rifle and is taking aim at you because he thinks you are the most obvious threat, even though Cohen is currently trying to bite the face off of his buddy. What do you do, Ken?
Yeah. So I think this is happening, and boy, oh boy. I'd like to say that there's no such thing as luck. When you concentrate on the moment and trust your instincts, the force will guide your actions.
Ooh. Okay.
He's gonna lean into the force and get a 10.
That
Which
sounds
means
awesome.
I'll get a
On a 10
total
plus, you hold 2.
So, so I'm gonna spend 1 to just, and let me know if this is too silly, to disappear from view. So like this guy goes to like shoot me and suddenly it's just, I'm gone.
That's what the move says, so that's what you get. You, what does that look like to us?
Yeah, I think it's very much a now you see me, now you don't. Uh, as like he's there, he's not there, and like he's moving, but he's almost like moving sort of within the force in a way that makes him imperceptible to the non-force awakened eye.
I dig it. That sounds
Kay
cool.
doesn't know how force works because Kay doesn't know Star Wars, so Kay's just gonna go with
No,
this.
it works fine. Sounds good to
Okay.
me. I like it. Cool. So he fires where you were, and you just happen to not be there. In the
Yeah.
Karate
And
Kid style of the magical art of not be there. I love that.
yeah. And I'll
Yeah,
keep
you just disappear from view, and he misses.
disappears from view, he misses.
You've got a second hold.
And
Do you want to hold that, or
yeah,
you
I
want to use it?
think as he takes a few steps, he gets a little closer to Jody, and I'm going to help a fellow bounty hunter give them +1 forward by guiding their actions.
Aw,
Mom, I got you. And your historically bad rolls.
it's true. They're so bad, guys. So bad. Sweet, Jody. You're in the thick of it because you jumped in to try to help somebody. One of the things that you noticed at the beginning of this fight, there's a ambient light from your eyes, and the people that you guys are fighting, they all have helmets on, like vac suit type helmets. Cohen, she has reached with her big clawed Trandoshan hand and ripped the helmet off of the guy that she's pressing the door down onto. Uh, you see that he is a human with some cybernetics, and then on the side of his neck I'll show you this picture, is a tattoo that looks like this. And glancing around, you see that mark on the armor of one of the other members of this team. In fact, it's a pretty common symbol. I'll put that in the keeper shortly. What do you wish to do right now? Sorry, just did last updates. So you have one person that you engage to help out so that they wouldn't shoot Cohen in the back. Cohen is on top of one of them. There's a third one who's firing at where Ken was. What do you want to do?
So I'm gonna let's let's see. I'm going to attack them and see if I can't take them down.
Okay.
And let's see what that looks like. Let me roll that. So I get +1 from Ken, telling me where to go.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm using Terrace Cassie, and I needed that +1. So I got an 8.
Got an 8. Cool. On that, you'll be swapping harm. It's a pretty simple one. We just move forward. So, how much does Terrace Cassie harm?
So the Terrace Cassie sticks do 1 harm, but I get +1 because it's a traditional gear, and I also have the tag stunning.
Nice. Cool. So this guy's wearing armor, and I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Wearing armor means you have significant resistance against stun. Stun's just used against unarmored opponents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would. I'd say it's like, you know, if you fired a stun blast at a stormtrooper, they'd just shrug it off, basically.
I think you and I need to like type it up just so it's clear to people, because there seems to be a lot of stunning going on, and I want to make sure folks are comfy with it, or at least know what they're getting into.
I mean,
that
if
said,
the stun is getting smacked with something, perhaps it doesn't apply. You know, like I think it's like in all of the PVTA stuff, right? It's like, what is the fictional positioning of your body armor, right?
That's true. That's true. Okay, cool. We at the very least do 2 harm to this this merc soldier, whatever we want to call them, and yeah, you whack them with the Terrace Cassie sticks, and they take the harm, but they have whipped out a vibro knife and they stuck it inside you, and just to make sure that I'm applying, I think Rich looks at gear, vibro knife, where's vibro knife? That's 1 harm hand hidden, so it doesn't even get through your armor. Man, 2 armor is insane. Oh, you're back in your regular armor. Okay.
Yeah, I have 1
but
armor.
Still, 1 armor. So, and it bounces across several pieces of metal. Against a regular person, that would have gutted them, but you are a droid, so they must have misread your posture. Maybe you're still wearing that cloak. Cool. So let's circle back to Lack, because you knocked a person in a cell and trapped them. Now there are 2 combatants who are up. Cohen, after having ripped the helmet off, bites this guy in the face and twists, and you hear a sickening crunch. So gore and blood dripping from her mouth. She's looking up to see what is next. You're not sure where Ken is. Jody is fighting against another one of these mercs, and there is one last person, the one who fired at Ken, and
I think what Lack does is sees some guy randomly firing shots at empty space, and shrugs, and then just lines at the blaster.
Sweet.
Yeah. Where the hell did where the sifted did Kin go? Always leaving us when we need them.
I'm going to have you act under pressure here because they're not firing at you.
Yeah.
We'll see if you can basically pop and take them down with 1 shot because they are so distracted by Kin.
I cannot. However, I could call for aid for
could. That's a juicy XP.
It is a GCSP, but I think what I would do is I'm calling for aid specifically when I say that. Where are you, Kin? Oh well. And then that's I missed. That guy turns around and like turns his blaster on Black, as he's like, "Oh, Sith," and then let's see what Kin does. Right, I guess.
Kin will help out. Let's see. So, am I like actually doing the help out move here, or do something?
Yeah, there's a roll
for aid.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm calling for aid. Yeah.
I just wasn't sure because the way it was worded, I was like, "Is this me coming up after?" Or is it? But yeah, coming for aid. Da-na-na-na.
Well, because like the fight move isn't just like a D&D, like you make your attack roll, you miss kind of thing. It's like an exchange of.
There it is. Okay, cooperate. The help rolls. Oh, it's a flat roll. Okay.
No, you roll your appropriate stat depending on how you're doing it.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
about
you
that.
describe what you're doing, and then
Yeah, I think I think he's moving within the force. So I think it's tech, he's at first at Jody's back and he had providing that sort of this and there, and he sort of almost, steps on one towards the other and goes essentially to make off balance the person who is giving an issue for lack.
okay, cool. So sounds like then you're
Plus
kind
tech.
of taking them down to a degree. So, or you're using your. Oh, if you're using the force, then it'd be plus tech.
Yeah, tick.
Sorry.
So I'm within the force. 10.
All right. That pushes lack up to a middling success or a mixed
Whoa.
success. I'll give you a worse outcome, hard choice, or price to pay.
I have a suggestion that
Sure.
the guy, as Lack misses, and then he's about to fire again, but the heavy blast is not as fast, right? And this guy switches it onto full auto. And just as he's about to just unload like a full burst into Lack, is when Kin uses the force, and instead of it all going into Lack, instead the corridor is sprayed with just auto blaster fire, right? Which would explain how we both take a harm from, glancing sort of blast rather than like dead center kind of thing. If that works.
Yeah. Works for me. Are you guys okay with you both taking some harm from that?
Sure.
One harm? One harm is straight through, right? It's narrative
Yeah.
harm, not worrying about armor. You both
Lack
take
sort of
one
hears a
harm.
barely there whisper in his ear, sort of like a "Don't say I didn't do anything for you," but it's a lot more wispy.
Yeah, he's paying no attention to that with the screaming and the shooting and the pain and it's like,
Nice.
it's almost like the voice in the back of my head sounds like Kin, but
Cool. So I'd like to say, because where we're at time, that with Cohen and the three of you working together, the last guy is taken down, and you're in the process of trying to figure out how to get out of this prison that still hasn't kicked over to Aug's power, that has droids here, and obviously there's some support. So you're in a tense situation, but you have a moment when we pick back up. Does that sound like an okay stopping point for folks?
yeah.
Yeah.
Can the stopping point be Cohen, dripping in blood, drops the guy that she just ripped apart, and we take care of the last one, and then they go like, "Who the hell are you guys?" And Lack goes,
that.
"I'm Lacrim Naradel, and we're here to rescue you."
Love it. That sounds wonderful to me. I'm a huge fan of that idea. That sounds great. Let's end the games with our questions. So, did you talk about or pointedly not talk about something that was troubling a team member? And multiple occasions of this can be true for multiple improvement, but that's our team playbook style question.
I think so. I think Kin's fiance has now betrothed, has now become a thing that has been mentioned and was not articulated too much about with Jody.
Sounds good to me.
And I think we also talked a lot
Yeah.
about the issues that happened with the killing of the Gamorrean guard in the arena.
Yeah. We had a full on you're getting into fights and you're causing trouble for the family kind of conversation,
For the
right?
missions, and don't cause more of your fights during our mission. If you want to do it after the mission, it's one thing, but
yeah. Should we mark 2 for that, do you think, or 1?
I think so. Yeah, 2 feels good to me. That means you have an advance to talk about with the group next time.
Sweet.
Yay, we can progress through some of the team playbook stuff. I love it. All right, so let's see. I don't think there's any session questions. It's just the team playbook one, right?
Mm.
Because now it's
Yeah.
all creds. So
Which we haven't earned until we get them off planet.
Yep. All right, let's end with Stars of Wishes. We are right at time, so if anyone needs to go, feel free. If anyone can stay. I would love to hear your wishes and your stars. We'll kick off with wishes, so you can end with stars. Who'd like to go first with wishes?
Sorry, you go
No,
first.
Will.
Okay, sure. My wish would be I just looked at our allies. We have a well-traveled trader who's secretly a very accomplished smuggler. I'd like to define who they are and bring them in some way into our next caper. And along those, the out of session, the out of hunt stuff, I would quite like there to be quite a lot of fallout on Trident Spaceport, Trident Vespa from, like the complications that happen at the start of it. But I am always cautious about how much time we do with that in session mechanics versus the drive. If the drive is to free the droids, then that's the drive role, right? Rather than what you do in your it is a task too big for you to do in discrete actions kind of thing. It's going to require you to dedicate some resources towards it. But yeah, those are my wishes basically for people to be pissed off with us for having the droid revolutionaries among us, I guess, complicating the lives of people. Slimo spaceport. And for every time I look at that, the well-traveled trader secret, all I can think of is Talon Card from the expanded universe. But there we go. He's a semi-canonical figure, so maybe we come up with Talon Card's business partner or something.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Will. You were champing at the bit, so you get to go next, Kay.
Yeah.
Wishes?
So I would love.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Kay.
Some of the.
Okay.
Those might be fun to mess around with.
Kay, you're cutting out significantly
did I break
to where
up?
I can't. Yeah, you did a whole bunch, and I couldn't hear what you're saying.
Oh.
I'm sorry. You talk for just a little bit longer and see if it's back. Maybe it was just a little burp of internet.
Might just be a bit of a bip. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, you sound good. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Can you start over again?
Someone must have hit something somewhere. Who knows? Yeah. So wish list. Definitely would like to meet our many-hand friend again. More Force stuff. I'd love to see the dark selections I made come into play, like the hallucinations or the temptations. Love to see what that might look like. And then obviously I have a whole ass betrothed sitting there, so lots of fun components to play with.
You bet. Cool. Steven, what about you?
I'm gonna go with the cheap wish, which is, I'm eager to see the rest of the group come back and play with them. And
I like that one.
I think part of a wish could be, so whenever Will mentioned the smuggler that we have from the team playbook, my first thought was, hey, he could be our way off of this place, out of Frick City. So could the other players. That could explain why they haven't participated to get this out. We're the extraction team. They're going to help us evacuate. It's just an option. I think that's all I got.
I was also thinking like other PCs extraction team, so I'm glad.
Yeah.
Cool. You went last with wishes. You get to go first with stars. Did you have any stars, Steven?
I'll start with the star of I always like XP on a miss. because I missed a lot. And, it feels good to at least get something out of that. So, and otherwise, stars, I mean, I really like the scenes that I had with the other PCs, especially the little bit of a debrief about like, oh, you're betrothed? Are you okay with that? Maybe. And oh, you're causing problems for the group. You need to stop causing problems for the group. So that was very good.
I have weird feels about I'm playing a revolutionary and my team is telling me not to be a revolutionary.
Um,
I have weird feels about it.
We are playing about it. It's the Hook Cartel thing, right? Like we're not
I
playing
know.
good guys. Like we're playing bounty hunters. If we'd chosen the team playbook style of being good guys, but we chose a team playbook style of being a messy, dramatic family, right?
and in my mind, I have
Yes.
to admit, I had something was bothering me at first, but the thing that helped me figure it out was we're bounty hunters, right? We kill people, things happen, and people get pissed off. We probably all have enemies that are sitting out there, and Jody just made a new one for Allie, so that's kind of how it works. Yeah. I guess that's another wish is we need to make sure and check in with Alan that all the trouble
Mhm.
that I caused is copacetic. Yeah.
I will check in with Alan at the top. Thank you for that. Cool. Thank you for your stars. And Kate, you are next with stars.
Yeah, definitely stars all around. Absolute star, Stephen, for taking all those failures like a champ and rolling with it and being like, Rich was like, I don't want to be too mean. And you were like, no, dump me in the trash. Like, do it, knock me out. Like, I love the yes and even to the bad rolls. That's storytelling. And it's great to have someone who rolls with that. Also, yeah, the position of what Jody as a revolutionary versus this kind of team and how that's going to work out. I'm excited to see as you sort of play to it. There's some really great just like one line situations with Lack that I really enjoyed. It was also finally really nice to sort of see him hold his intelligent own kind of in his singular conversation. I feel like that's the first time we've really gotten like a strong Lack scene where he's not just kind of vibing. He's actually like, okay, I am a person of merit and worth here, who can do things. I'm not just, happen to swing in with the blaster and be there, which is really great. Rich, as always, you know what I want in games. I want to be tempted by the darkness and the shenanigans, and that failure rolled perfectly. Also, I just really loved the scene back and forth. It was really great dramatic tension, like just like you're a good daughter, I try to be a good son. Like it was just a level of political intrigue dynamic I've yet to experience with Star Wars, but kind of know that Star Wars has. So that was really lovely to get to take a stab at.
Good. I'm glad. I was like, I think I know Kay well enough to take a leap here, and I'm glad you dug it. So yay. Good. Last but not least, Will. Any stars left?
I mean, I loved that Jody did go straight to 11 and do all that. I think that's quite a fittingly, like a binary kind of choice, right? You know what I mean? And that we have that fallout to deal with is, because I think that Lack, for example, is certainly a case of like, oh no, I'm totally with you. It's just, maybe not so publicly. Like you don't want them to see you do these things. You want to do it sneakily, and you can, to be crude for a second, you can shit where you eat. Just make sure that no one sees you doing it, right? Like, and I really loved, Kin meeting the whole and the being so brittle, that like someone's walking away from me. No, I walk away from you. Like use the force. And Rich for having the prison break be not complicated by the guards, but be complicated by a hit team, basically, which is great.
Glad you liked. I was very excited when I'm like, oh, a miss. Well, I'm just gonna go straight to the thing that I'm hoping will happen. So yay! Thanks for rolling poorly. That was really like this trio. Was excited to have a pocket game where we could just focus on your characters, your relationships, and the like. Really enjoyed Lax scene with the newly created Zorabos. Great name, and that was really fun. So I look forward to more, and that will all happen next week. With that, we'll bring the recording to a close. Thank you.